Hello, everybody. This is Jason.
And Aaron.
And we are the hosts of the For Better or Worse podcast. Like most couples, we have pretty different tastes.
There's a lot of things we agree on, of course, but it can be pretty difficult to find something to watch at the end of the day.
She likes comedies, love stories, and dramas.
And he likes anime, horror, sci-fi, and fantasy.
So we both thought it would be fun to force each other to watch our favorite movies, shows, or anything else we can think of, and record it here for you guys.
The show is a lot of fun, and it's not always torture. Sometimes we actually come around to each other's side.
We would love for you guys to give us a shot, so download For Better or Worse anywhere you listen to your favorite shows, and join us in the fun.
We can't wait to share our experiences with you.
Hello, Alex. You're a bit late.
Novotny. I should have known.
You're 9 years too late. You left me sitting in Chicago with an overheated biofeedback machine.
I got tied up.
Well, I didn't mind too much that you walked out on me. You could have at least let me know you were alive. I was worried.
About me or your research grant?
Both.
Well, I'd apologize, but we both know I'm not very good at that.
That's okay. It's a long time ago. It's good to see you.
It's good to see you, too. Do you think next time you could spare me the cloak and dagger act?
Oh, you mean you would have come if I just called?
No.
This is the emergency podcast system. This is not a test. Movies are bombing all over the country. They are posing as movies you already know. They may already be in your theaters, your neighbor's home, or even your own. Do not panic. Specialists have been dispatched. They will help you identify these pretenders and defend you against this invasion of the remake. Please stand by for further instructions.
Welcome to the Invasion of the Remake podcast. I'm your host, Jason Bishop, and with me today, as always, is Sam Stepanenko.
Hello. Welcome to my nightmare.
And Trish Coughlin.
Well, okay. I didn't realize this was your nightmare, was podcasting in Jason's
No, not at all. Not
Trish
at all.
is always part of my nightmare.
Glad to be there.
No problem.
No, my nightmare is watching movies that I loved as a kid and realizing that they just don't hold up the same way they used to.
I kind of felt the same way with this one,
Yeah.
because I did really like it as a kid, but doesn't quite hold up, but there's some good ideas here.
There's some great ideas in here.
Yeah, so this was a good pick for a remake episode and our first episode for our October horror fest, all the horror, hashtag all the horror. Come on. We work all year up to this.
This is, I think
Yes.
we all are always really excited for this month.
Yeah.
And we all deny ourselves some great horror viewing throughout the entire year just so we have lots to watch because we have so much to watch in 31 days.
We're like
Yeah.
on a horror diet.
Yeah.
Yes.
Last week's episode doesn't really count because that we recorded that footage way a few months ago with those panels from HorrorCon. But so this is for us is our official entry, and we're easing our way in because I would consider this kind of a fun adventure movie with kind of some horror elements.
Yeah.
Yeah, they classify it
IMDb
as
has it as an action adventure horror movie.
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
The horror elements are meager, but they're there.
Yeah.
It's more sci-fi-esque in a way.
It is until you get into the final sequence, really.
Yeah.
And the one sequence where he's in with the kid.
Right away, like even before you see this movie, I can imagine people going to the theaters and thinking one thing and getting another because that poster.
I was just about to say the
that
same thing.
Drew Struzan masterpiece. I mean, he is a master in poster creation. He's bar none one of the best. But it looks like an Indiana Jones poster.
It's
does,
for
yeah.
a different movie.
Yeah.
Like that poster is if you are entering the dreams of somebody else to get a fabled artifact. That's what that poster is.
Yeah, I mean, what's with the torch?
I don't
But
know.
it's not as strange as the Italian poster.
Yes.
Did you see that too?
I haven't seen that
Oh,
one.
it's bizarre. The top it has Tommy Ray as Tommy Ray and the Snake Man. Then,
But where they're
below that-
morphing into each other.
Yeah, they're morphing into each other, and that's really cool. But below that, they have this naked woman with a skinless man coming out of her vagina.
But her like
What?
there's a crack kind of going up her belly, like her vagina is splitting apart like a fault line.
It's bizarre. You'll have to look it up.
I would love to see what
And-
that movie looked like.
And
Yeah.
there's like a very like charade critics thing of like steps going into a doorway, very 60s.
Okay, well, I can see that
impressionist
because
on
there
it.
is that
Long stairway scene.
that long stairways, that German expressionist kind of scene in this movie that I would definitely be part of that poster, but the whole vagina thing, I don't even know where that's from because this
Don't
is a
know who
very
it is.
family-friendly movie.
Yes, they actually took out what nudity there was in it. There was
Yeah.
a sex scene that did feature some nudity that they took out.
Yeah, because this was, I do believe, the very first PG-13
Second.
movie. Second. What was the
Red
first?
Dawn
Red
was
Dawn.
the first.
That's right, Red Dawn was the first.
We all did our research this week, eh?
We did. Look at you guys. And then I did my research and then I got it wrong.
Oh no.
Because I did research for all sorts of things this
Yes.
week.
Yeah, no, it's okay. You're allowed to have a blip once in a while, Jay. It's all good.
That's okay.
Exactly.
I'm glad you're there to
It's
back
like
me up.
we felt it in the universe and we decided like
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. And I worked yesterday, so I had a lot of time to read.
nice.
Nice to know you work at work.
Well, Saturdays are quiet.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, they really are. So yeah, there's a lot of in-between times, so I can do a little bit of reading between calls.
Saturdays are your standby mode, really.
Yeah. So, here's what I do know about this movie. Dreamscape, 1984, directed by Joseph Rubin. He did movies like The Stepfather, The Forgotten, and Sleeping with the Enemy is probably the most famous of those. The story screenplay was by David Lowery, who wrote Passenger 57, Star Trek V, The Final Frontier, Lakeview Terrace, But the screenplay itself was Joseph Rubin, obviously the director, along with Chuck Russell, who we've talked about in way back in episode 19, which was...
Oh my god, I just blanked. What happened?
Yeah, I could see, it was on your face. I could see you knew it, and then it went away. It was the Blob.
It was the Blob. I
Thank
knew that
you.
too.
It was the Blob.
Because I did the research and I'm like, I blanked too.
I had a couple of items on here, and did I write that down? No.
Yeah. He directed that movie, and he directed The Mask, Eraser, and most notably connective tissue to this
Yes.
movie, Nightmare on Elm Street Part 3.
Arguably
Dream
the best
Warriors.
of the Nightmare on Elm Street movies.
I would also agree. So he became like the Dream Master in this, which technically was
And-
the fifth movie. But I don't know.
Yeah.
But and this ties in really nicely with the fact that the Nightmare on Elm Street, the first movie, released the same year as Dreamscape.
Yeah.
In November, this released in August, so this actually predates
and
Nightmare by a few months.
Yeah, Nightmare 3, his entry into Nightmare was 87.
Yeah.
87. And ultimately, what ties into this is learning to manipulate the dreamscape itself to fight against an evil person.
There's some very interesting parallels too, because Tommy Ray has that one moment where he has the knives come out of his fingers.
Yes.
I'm like, wow, like talk about like hitting the same notes.
Well, you think about the ideas that Wes Craven had come up with and some of the real life stories he'd heard about this kid in Malaysia or somewhere who couldn't sleep and had the coffee maker in his closet.
Well, wouldn't
and would
sleep.
describe like some sort of demon in his dreams. So maybe this Freddy entity has always infected the nightmares and it's been
Takes different forms.
takes different forms in different people's creativity.
Well, for Buddy, it's a snake man.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
I mean that was the parallel I was going to draw is the lack of sleep and not being able to sleep because he's afraid of the nightmare. So there's lots of parallels to the movie and to the basis of that story.
Absolutely.
Yeah, no, which I found fascinating. Another aspect I liked about this movie is, man, if somebody like Michael Crichton or Tom Clancy had gotten a hold of this, like the political power play that's happening in the sub-story of this, I'm like, like, that's one way to go. It's
Yeah.
that wasn't exactly how I would have thought this movie would have gone as an adventure movie, because you don't really need that subplot.
You don't.
But boy, I kind of want to run with it.
Well,
Well, if you're going to use it, right? Like really
Yeah.
amp it up. I think that was the problem. Is it felt like it was kind of stuffed in there.
It did.
Yeah.
and sort of put to the side a lot of the time.
Well, it did,
and ultimately, if you are being, it's also fire starter in a way where it's when you have a government agency involved, it's about weaponizing, and there's nothing else that's going to happen.
And
you can't possibly believe these people are above board.
And that's what's really interesting about this. Like, okay, they're doing these sleep studies and entering people's dreams to manipulate those dreams, whereas the ultimate goal from Christopher Plummer's character is to create dream assassins, this Manchurian candidate concept of creating literal sleeper agents.
Yes.
I can't believe neither one of you came up with that one before I did.
Didn't. I
Totally didn't.
You know what? Bravo.
Yes.
Bravo.
Thank you. Master of puns, right here.
That really is your bailiwick there, Jay.
Thank you. Thank you. How old are you that you use the word bailiwick in a sentence?
Older than you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Hey, I'm well read. I use words from all kinds of times.
Darn tootin'.
You can't see
Anyway.
me pouting, but I am.
Yeah, that's why I got that big spit thing to block your face.
I didn't give you a raspberry at you or anything like that. I don't spit when I pout.
No, I just can't see you.
He can't see. He literally can't see how old you are.
That's right. I could see some eyes above the microphone.
So you can see the tears then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's fine. I get joy out of your tears.
You always have. You always have.
I'm going to play up the heel every day.
Yep.
Oh, those cleansing
Your other
tears.
bailiwick.
My other bailiwick. All right. This movie stars almost the forgotten guy of the 80s, Dennis Quaid. Like, he was one of the it guys.
Yeah.
Really
at that
was.
time. And his character, Alex Gardner, in this was that carefree, almost like the one in Tron, you know? But,
Almost like Tron,
Yes.
and certainly his character in Inner Space.
yeah.
Which we might cover
Absolutely.
So we
someday,
might
right?
cover Inner Space.
Yeah.
I've been thinking about covering Inner Space. So let us know, guys. You know where our handles everywhere,
And we'll tell you again anyhow. so.
Yeah, we will later on.
Yeah.
Max von Sydow, who plays Dr. Paul Novotny, we've talked about him a couple of times.
5 times. This is the 6th.
Oh,
Yes.
Jesus! Well, I've got
I did my
two.
research
I've
on that
got
one.
two listed
Yeah.
here. I think we first talked about him in Flash Gordon,
Yep.
episode 29, and most recently was episode 121,
Bob and
which
Doug?
was the Adventures of Bob and Doug McKenzie's Strange Brew.
That would be... Is that true?
I don't know.
Did
if
we do
that's
Star
true.
Force Awakens before or after that?
Before,
Before.
yeah, before.
So, because we
That
did
was before.
Flash Gordon,
Yeah.
Conan. He's in
Oh,
Conan
yes, he
Barbarian.
is in Conan.
Strange Brew. Never Say Never Again, he's in.
Where?
He's in it.
I'll take your word for that one.
Yeah,
I don't
'cause
remember.
I don't know where he is.
But he's in it. Apparently he's. He
If
plays
he's
one of-
wrong, go attack Sam
Yeah.
on Twitter.
Yes,
Yeah.
and then Star Force Awakens, and now this. So this will be his 6th appearance on
Star
it.
Force.
Star Wars.
Okay.
Force Awakens. Sorry, I'm getting
Yeah.
mumbly mouthed. I'm sorry, guys. Jay made me nervous that I was wrong about something.
Max von Sydow, an Invasion remake all-star. But
Yes.
right behind him is Colin Farrell, who we've talked to about a number of times as well.
Yes.
So yeah, we've talked about him quite a bit, but we've never talked about Christopher Plummer, which is funny because there was one year about I think 2012, Christopher Plummer and Max von Sydow were going up for the same Oscar award.
Yeah. Which Plummer won, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Oh, one of
Plummer,
my
I
first-
don't know about unfortunately. Like I think they both deserve
They're good.
their Oscars, so I'm glad Plummer's got one. But come on, give one to Sydow soon because he's
We
not
need
getting
to.
any younger.
Yes, we don't want an honorary posthumous one. We want one while he's
A
still
real one.
alive.
Yeah, words can't describe how happy I was to see these guys in the same scene.
My
Yes.
God, right? That was one
Like-
of my first notes. I'm like, why aren't Max von Sydow and Christopher Plummer in more movies together?
Yeah, and I mean, we get a little excited because Christopher Plummer's like a Canadian treasure. So,
Absolutely.
also starring Eddie Albert as the president. And Jesus, how good are your memories, people? Because we just talked about Eddie Albert like 2 weeks ago
Right?
in The Longest Yard.
Yeah. Yes, we
So-
did.
Oh, there's another Longest Yard connection, too, as well.
Yes, I'm
Yes,
getting
there is.
there.
We're
I'm
getting
getting there. Okay, also starring Kate Capshaw as Jane DeVries. You guys remember where she's from? I mean, honestly, you see her, there's only one movie anybody thinks about.
And it came out the same year as this one as well.
It did, and that was Indiana Jones and the Temple of
See,
Doom.
but that's not the only one I think of.
What's the other one you think
Space Camp.
of? Nobody. Maybe we should cover.
I
that
love
one.
that
Nobody
one.
remembers Space Camp.
I have it on
anymore.
VHS.
don't.
I still watch it.
David Patrick Kelly is Tommy Ray Glattman. Everybody's got weird names in this movie.
Yes.
And we also talked about him in The Longest Yard as he played the stool pigeon Unger
Yep.
in the remake.
in the remake. Yeah. George Wendt is also in this movie. We talked about him in lots of connective tissue today, guys. Episode 65, House, and better known to audience that are our age, Cheers, Norm from Cheers.
Norm from Cheers, yeah. Which made it so much fun to see him in that bar buying a drink for somebody.
It was like he would do that.
Exactly. That's almost like the George Wendt.
He'd buy
archetype.
it for them, distract them. You're not going to drink that, are you?
Yeah. And I don't know, what was he wearing when they meet kind of under the night lamp? Because I kept thinking of, remember when they did that little long-running SNL sketch of Da Bears?
Yeah.
I kept expecting to say, "Hey, Alex, you want to talk about Da Bears?"
We're going to have to do something with him because he's horribly underused. His character is kind of pointless in this movie.
He's kind of wasted.
He's just there to kind of open the eyes of Alex in the movie.
Yeah, he's a catalyst.
He's a catalyst, and in a very blatant one at that.
He's killed off real quick.
Yeah, also some appearances by Larry Gelman as Mr. Weber, Peter Jason as Babcock, Chris Mulkey as Finch, and Corey Bumpers Yothers as the little kid Buddy.
There we go. And I verified that Max von Sydow was in Never Say Never Again. He was frickin' Blofeld.
Oh, of course he was. I don't know why I forgot that. Yeah, you're right. He was Blofeld.
Yeah. See, that movie, I just seem to block every time we watch it. It makes me so tired.
We've already discussed what an inferior remake that really is.
Yeah.
It's easily forgotten.
Well, yeah, if you don't remember, I'm going to go back and listen to that episode again because I honestly don't remember having the conversation. But that happens because we're old.
Yes. And we've done a lot of episodes.
We've done a lot of episodes. We're approaching 160 here.
Yeah.
Probably be hitting that this month sometime. So crazy.
And that's an episode every single week. We have never missed a week of
new
content.
Well, I mean, there's some weeks where we've had like some little shorts at Christmas time.
Always content.
And I don't actually count those as full episodes in that list, but we've never missed a week since the day we debuted. So
we're here for you guys.
We're proud of that fact, and hopefully we can continue that. I mean, something may happen down the road where we might miss a week, but hopefully not. We always try to plan ahead.
So. Hopefully, okay. Then we can never travel in the same vehicle, never the same flight. Yeah, just in case.
If we go off the air without any warning whatsoever, we probably went out in blaze of glory with some rock stars on a plane.
Yep.
That's how I want to go.
Yeah, we went out Buddy Holly style.
I don't know. Crashing in a plane. I've jumped out of it. That falling bit is really bad.
Yeah, well, it's the sudden impact at the ending that's worse.
It is, but the fact that you're going to spend a bunch of time knowing you're going to die.
Well, there is that, I suppose.
But you don't know. People have survived falls from airplanes.
Yeah.
Very rarely. Like that Russian woman who was an air stewardess and just went back to it.
Yep. That's insane.
That is crazy insane. Well, I don't know. That's one of our nightmares for sure. I'm going to run the trailer for Dreamscape, and this one's awesome, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
Alex Gardner has a unique talent, and even he doesn't know what it can do.
No one has ever done it before. No one has even conceived of doing it before.
Going into another person's dream. If I have to see that to believe it.
He is about to enter a world that no one has ever seen before. The world of your dreams.
I was under the impression we were conducting scientific research here.
You sound as if you don't approve.
I can see you're going to be a real challenge to work with.
Oh, wait a minute, Doctor. I haven't agreed to anything yet.
There's somebody in my dreams.
Who?
An awful, ugly monster.
This kid is being eaten alive and nobody gives a damn.
Whatever his demon is, you have to help him face it.
There's nobody there.
Are you sure, Alex? He's always there.
But Alex will make a discovery more frightening than any dream.
What's going on?
I had to let you know you're in danger.
You want my secrets?
Just want some advice.
I'm afraid he has to be killed.
I'll assign some men to you.
I think I should deal with this on my own.
And now, his only way out is to go back in to the Dreamscape.
It's a dream, Alex. Do anything you want in here.
Dennis Quaid, Kate Capshaw, Dreamscape. When you close your eyes, the adventure begins.
It was a pretty good 80s trailer.
It was a very good 80s trailer.
It's so 80s.
I remember seeing this movie. I actually saw this in the theater because I was 14 when this movie came out, so I was old enough to go see it in the theater. And I remember going to see it with my best friend at the time, who I'm still friends with, by the way. And remember just being like amazed by this movie at 14 years old because it was relatively new. They made a really great use of special effects and practical effects to give you something that was different from what you'd seen before.
Yeah, I mean, some of that doesn't age well. The Snake Man makeup doesn't look like as good as you thought it did. Yeah. The green screens, they're probably blue screens back then, are looking pretty blatant as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
There's some bits that I did enjoy, like in The Child's Dream where they have like the very askew door. Like there's some good use of set design there. The staircase going down into nothingness. I still think that looks great.
There's very much that kid's dream was very German expressionism inspired, much like the Casino Royale bit.
I was about to say yes. There's
like
a lot of stuff.
The crooked doorways and the banister on the stairs. It's all crooked.
Yeah. The kid should have been named Gunter, not Buddy.
Yes.
With all that German expressionism.
That's right.
But the one bit actually with...
I like the chocolate.
There's this, I don't know why, this is the snake man. The snake man comes all the time in the night.
And he never has chocolate.
Never chocolate. I am the chocolate. And then, but the one with Tommy at the end where he sort of half transforms back from the Snake Man, I think that looks really good because he looks very vulnerable and it kind of makes that moment stick for me.
Yeah, that actually did age better than the rest of the practical makeup for sure. And I mean that whole end scene, like the sets, like you said, mentioned the set design is really solid. Like it gives you that feeling of post-apocalypse kind of sort of setting, right, with the use of the red light and the deterioration of the world. It was that made you actually feel like you were in a dream.
It's like Sarah Connor's dream from T2.
Yeah.
In a way.
Yeah, to a certain extent, I have to agree with on that one.
That might have been one of the post-apocalyptic kind of nuclear nightmare dreams ever put to film, now that I think about it.
It may have been. Certainly, you can see how this movie may have affected some other movies, surprisingly enough, because it was a moderate success. So, but
yeah, not bad. I wouldn't call this a success per se, but
that's why I said moderate.
Yeah, budgeted at $6 million and around 11.5 U.S. domestic take, maybe another $1 million in VHS rentals or whatever.
Yeah, because I remember getting this on VHS. I didn't see it in the theaters.
I'm trying to remember if I saw it on VHS or even television, because, I mean, when it was in the theaters, I would have been 11, and I know I didn't see it in the theaters, so it was probably a TV broadcast a couple years after.
Yeah, which it very well could have been, because it's not particularly graphic.
Yeah.
No, you can. Like that's the thing with as a kid, you could totally rent this one and be like, "It's Dreamscape, Mom. It's fine."
Yeah, and I mean, certainly if you were too young, I can see why they gave it a PG-13. Because I think if you were too much younger, I could see some of the scenes, especially when it came out, being a little much for younger.
Yeah, there's
people.
Nothing particularly graphic. It is kind of like a hide behind the couch kind of thing.
But as a kid, I could see bits that would give you nightmares.
Oh, for sure.
The Snake Man, the scene where Tommy Ray pulls up the heart out of that one person.
Yeah, the knives on his fingers.
Which makes it kind of funny that Kate Capshaw was in both these movies, because in both movies, there's a heart pulled out and held while it's still pumping in somebody's hand. I love the fact that she was tied to both movies.
Space Camp, one of the few movies there's no heart ripping. Just saying.
Really?
No heart ripping.
No, I don't want to see it.
No.
At least not right now.
She gets injured in space, but no heart ripping.
That's heart ripping.
It's heart-wrenching and a little bit heartbreaking, but no ripping.
Yeah. Well, I want to see hearts and still beating hearts in people's hands.
Yeah, with blood running down the wrist and stuff.
Yeah.
Because that's probably the most graphic scene in the whole movie.
Yeah, I would think.
Well, see, I don't know. Like, when I was a kid, that threat of, like, nuclear war and, like, bombs going off, that scared me more than anything.
It was still a very prevalent thing in the early 80s. And I think that's why they reference it so much in the movie, why they use it as a point of reference. Yeah. Because there was still the Cold War was still active at that time.
Yeah, and with the presidents in this world having nightmares, and he's having these nuclear dreams, and that's what Christopher Plummer learns of these nightmares and how that might be affecting the president's thinking, because he wants to negotiate with the Russians to denuclearize their facilities. Like, Christopher Plummer's like, he's going to leave us defenseless.
Yeah. Which interestingly happened just 5 years later.
Yeah.
Which, interestingly, when you put it with the whole thing is Christopher Plummer, how he puts it is that they're going to emasculate our weapons program. And I'm like, it's very telling from a psychological standpoint that that's how he puts it.
Yes, and I think that was very well worded. I think that was just good writing, actually.
Like, it's just, he's like going, he thinks that having those weapons is giving him a big dick. It's not.
Yeah, well, I can certainly think of certain politicians that this can apply to.
Yes.
Yeah, if we were to remake this movie with certain politicians now, I'd be like, no. We're not going to stop this.
You go ahead, Tommy. You just go ahead and do what you need to do.
Go, Tommy. Hey, Tommy, I'm here to help you.
You know, and speaking of Tommy Ray, David Patrick Kelly in this, I thought it was interesting for this tiny guy to be the heavy of the film.
Like, I love that, and I kept when I recast, I actually kept that theme.
I kept that idea as well, because I like the idea, because it really had nothing to do with your physical look. It was all about mental, which, by the way, Alex, they say at the beginning of the movie, he's a talented telekinetic. At no point do we see him doing telekinesis.
No.
Telekinesis is moving objects with your mind.
Yeah. And he's very psychic, because they show him winning a horse, like knowing which horse is going to win.
That's what I would do.
Yeah.
That's what I would do.
I would have really appreciated that he was... I mean, as a telekinetic, you should have seen him like doing the craps table or roulette or something.
But what bothered me is, as a psychic, he knows which horse is going to win. But apparently, his psychic abilities don't extend to finding out that the people who want to kill him are there. Like, it can't detect assholes, but winners he can detect. I don't know why he should have known that was going to happen.
Yeah, and that's an interesting thing that we'll have to fix, right? Because I think that they kind of suggested that it doesn't work unless he works at it.
Yeah, here's a guy who's become less than reputable with the skills he has, and it's been a bit of a disappointment to his protege,
his mentor, and his mother. Don't forget his mother.
Yeah,
it comes up when they first bring him in.
Yeah,
which actually made me laugh. I thought that was kind of funny.
Yeah, you're like, when you talk about telekinesis, the craps table actually makes more sense, because then he would probably be going there, and it's not about, like, it doesn't poke out the holes in his psychic abilities.
Yeah, I mean, this movie's more about precognition and being a psychic rather than telekinetics. So I'm not sure why they had to be telekinetics, because at no point do you actually see them using that skill. I think there's a little test footage that you see of Alex at the beginning when he's does his first studies with Max von Sydow, or you see him doing some stuff there. But that's the only time you ever see telekinesis. And I mean, if you're going to use the word and call him that, maybe that should come into play within the film.
And we could do it that way. Certainly, we could change it from horse racing to a craps table.
Yeah, well, I mean, Jesus, if he's being pursued by government agents or other heavies along the way, like, this could be something he could use in those moments. Like, if he can get a breather and knock down a bookshelf, or who knows, with his mind.
Yeah. Well, it could make a lot of those filler scenes more interesting, because to be honest, I don't think there was enough dream stuff to keep you really engaged in that.
Yeah.
Right. I think there needs
I didn't
to be
think
more.
the worlds were all that creative that they did come up with.
Certainly, that would be one of the things that if I were making it, I would certainly expand upon that and make them more visually.
Well, when they had, like, the construction guy, I mean, if you're obsessed with your job and you're having a dream about your job, or something's bothering you about your job, that kind of makes sense to me. There should have been little things within the dream, like, one of the things if you haven't noticed in your own dreams, is you can't read things. Like, words are garbled, so if you had signs somewhere, like, you shouldn't have been able to read those.
So
just little things.
That it is a dream.
Yeah, and the kid one with the expressionist. I mean, it's twisted enough that it looks like a Danny Elfman wish list fever dream. But but with the adults, they look very relatable and real. It's like, well, dreams
aren't really like that.
Yeah,
and nightmares especially.
Yeah,
it depends. Sometimes they can be quite, but sometimes, have you ever been in a dream and it's just so mundane? I've been in a dream, realized I've been dreaming, and been bored. It's not good.
That's true.
You're like, if I was going to go to sleep, why am I bothering with this?
Yeah,
This
why is
annoying.
this happening? Can something happen now in this dream?
The dream was I was watching TV and there was nothing on. I've had that dream.
That's reality.
Right? It seemed real because I'm like, this is ridiculous.
What do you mean? There's nothing even on in my head?
Right?
Oh, that is so sad.
1,000 dreamscapes
really
and
is.
nothing is on.
That's not even the worst of my dreams. There's so much more I could tell you about how bad my dreams are. You know, in the dreams where like you can like relive like just that dream wish fulfillment, like you can go on a date with like the super hot person. No, I get rejected in my dreams. It's not good.
Oh well, I think everybody's had that at some point or another.
Yeah.
It's mostly.
Yeah.
There's no good ones.
So okay, George Wendt in this movie, he is a horror novelist and / conspiracy guy.
Yeah.
Well,
he's trying to get research on this
sleep study.
Mm-hmm. He's aware that there's more than what's on the surface, because Alex brought in not realizing this is funded by the government. It looks like a college lab.
Mm-hmm.
Much like the study he was involved in when he was in college.
Exactly.
Much like Vision. Was it Vision Quest we did?
No.
Or no, what was the one with
Altered States.
That's it. Thank you.
Altered States and Ghostbusters.
Yeah.
Loosely.
Let's see. Yeah, there's some connective tissue.
I'll always go back to Ghostbusters.
Sure.
Whenever I can.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, so he comes up and lets Alex know what's going on, and then once he's given that information, he's dead. Like, that's all he's there for, and that's frustrating to me.
It is frustrating because he only gets like 2 scenes.
Yeah.
Right? And it is really a waste of a character that could have been a lot more interesting.
It's a waste of George Wendt.
It is a waste of George Wendt. I would have liked to see him sort of explain what he's already learned a little bit more. Right? Explain that he's learned that not only can you go into the dreams and help, but you can manipulate things. So maybe he has a better understanding of what Tommy Ray's doing by the time we get to the end sequence.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So because his transition is very clumsy.
Or alternatively, rather than that one scene where Dennis Quaid goes in just to look at the file about Tommy, that he's Charles Prince is the one who tells him about Tommy and his background and what's happening there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think Charles should have brought in, like, we see him in the background, but we should have seen him make contact way earlier. Yeah. So, like, maybe a friendship is formed there of some sort to kind of let him know what's happening in the background of this.
Yeah,
I would use that character a lot more.
And rather than a novelist, make him a journalist.
So when he's killed, it doesn't just feel like throwaway. You didn't even get to know him, so you don't care that he dies.
Yeah.
Nobody in the movie seems to care that he dies.
I care that Norm died. That's the difference.
Even the people from the college that are coming out from the rally, he dies in the middle of them. Nobody reacts.
Nobody. And I'd like to give Jane more to do. She's kind of just there to be a love interest.
Yeah.
And she's actually in the position of Dr. Novotny's lab assistant.
Yeah.
Like literally the second person in charge. You would think there's probably a whole bunch of people involved in this study on the research side of things. So she's like the number 2.
Yeah, you would think.
Yeah. So, we need to find out, realize how smart she actually is within this study, and it shouldn't all be Max von Sydow stating all of this. I mean, granted, some of the discoveries she makes, like there's the conversation she has about an hour into the film with Alex over the phone, or actually I think on the stairwell, and he's like, hey, by the way, I entered that dream without the machine.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I thought that,
and then their eyes light up.
Yeah, I love that. I love that bit, right? But you never really get to see the chemistry between them. Mm-hmm. I don't think you see the brief moments of it where he's attracted to her, but you don't get to see it coming back.
Yeah, and I don't mind that she's a love interest, but we got to make her a little more capable than just being there for eye candy.
Yeah, and I think adding the George Wendt character and developing that relationship over a period of time, so that you get the feeling that there has been time for this relationship to develop before he mind rapes her.
Right? Mm-hmm. Yes, that bothered me a whole fuck of a lot.
I thought it might.
Yes.
I mean,
Because, I mean,
and they do address it to a certain extent, which is good.
But with the problem is she's in a dream. She doesn't know somebody else has come into her dream. So ultimately, she could think, this is my subconscious creating a manifestation of Alex. Then finds out later it's Alex himself.
Mm-hmm.
No.
Yeah, no, and it raises some interesting ethical questions and very strong ones for 1984. And there's still strong ones today.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So it's actually a scene I'd like to keep because, he's still morally questionable at the beginning of this movie, and this is something he needs to learn from. And, underneath he's a good person, but he makes mistakes.
But that's a
like he wants to help
mistake.
that kid. Yeah, that's a deep, dark mistake. But he's like a kid with these new powers, and she's sleeping there, and he just couldn't resist poking in. I don't think his initial intent was that, but he is attracted to her.
But he goes right for it,
Yeah.
But it's her dream, and he's just stepping into it, right?
Oh, but he comes in, and then he opens her legs, and he goes for
That's
it.
right, she's just on the train.
If she had initiated it, that's a little less creepy.
Well, they do state in the film that they both kind of wanted that moment. Yeah. But, he definitely was out of line.
Yeah.
Without no argument.
If she initiates, it's a little bit easier to take because it seems like she might have been thinking, well, this is my dream, and she is attracted to Alex, thinking that she is acting upon her own subconscious in the dream. Whereas when he comes in and just takes over, that's real bad.
They do raise the question of well, nothing technically happened. It was all in our minds, but it's the emotions and the feelings are still there.
It's still very invasive.
Absolutely.
Yeah, you can't just go. Yeah, but it sort of seems like she would have to. I would say,
and that's the kind of thing where I almost think we should switch that scene to Tommy if it's still viable with our recasting.
Mm-hmm.
But in my mind, something sexually aggressive probably should have happened from him.
Mm-hmm.
It should have, yes.
It seems it would make sense, and that would be. It could also be a whole point where she's sort of discovering how you can figure out if it's a dream, because sometimes you're in a dream, and it takes you a while to realize you're in a dream.
Yeah, because when I finished this film and I was thinking about it, I'm like, is Alex the hero of this movie? He wants to help that kid, but he learns some abilities along the way, and entering her dream without the machine was one of those steps, and he does something fairly underhanded. He straight up kills a guy.
He fulfills the actual purpose of Christopher Plummer.
Yeah, in the end, he's exactly what Christopher Plummer was looking for.
Yep.
And there's even hints that, I'm going to do this again. At the end of this movie, it doesn't seem like he's learned from
anybody
this.
who messes with him, he's just going to do this because it's easy.
Yeah.
And nobody will ever be able to prove that he did it.
And that's a power, a corruption thing. And that's, I don't think they intended it to be seen that way, but from older eyes, it does feel like this guy could wind up being the villain in a sequel if that was the case.
Yeah.
Which could be very interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, he could be there could be somebody, Charles Prince could actually survive, and he's tracking the serial killer, or what he thinks is a serial killer who's killing people in their dreams.
And it's kind of, from that standpoint, you're almost like, oh, this is why Tommy is the way he is. Because he's already gone down this road and realizes, oh, I'm really powerful, and suddenly I've been kicked around all my life as this little dude, and now I'm a big shot.
And again, nobody's safe.
Nobody can touch me, and nobody's safe. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think if you want...
Although he seems to be scared of Christopher Plummer, but...
Yeah, he does. Because Christopher Plummer is the father figure that he...
yearns for.
But I think he would have to do something with that end sequence to make Jack's actions more palatable. Because you're right, I felt uncomfortable with that when I was watching it. I'm like, that's really uncomfortable because it kind of breaks from... He's crossed a moral line at this point.
Yeah. Right? When he starts taking control away from Tommy in that final moment, and he starts realizing, Tommy's not the only one who can manipulate this dream, so can I. I would have, rather than straight up killing Tommy, I think I would have maybe tried to, break his brain a little bit, It's still a moral gray area, but at least he's not killing him.
But he doesn't kill him. The president does.
The president does.
That's true. That was president. No, there was another dream he went in. Who was it he killed?
It was
Bob killed
Bailey.
Bob.
Bob, yes.
Bob Blair, because he
Bob Blair, sorry.
was afraid that he would come after him, and that's sort of how they make it palatable at the end. They're like, going, "Oh, this guy's going to come after him, so he might as well just kill him." But when you're talking about breaking the brain, that first guy who goes into Tommy's dream, and they said, "Oh yeah, he ended up in a basket." That should be what he should be doing to Tommy.
Yes.
Yeah.
He's already on his way.
Yeah, when you read the write-up on this thing, it almost feels like there's multiple killings happening in here, and it's almost like a serial killer within the dreams. And that's not really within the film, but I might have had a few before even Alex showed up.
Yeah.
And this is being kept a secret from Alex because they need somebody else in there because they have their suspicions. But, I mean, it's Dream World. The only person who's going to know is Tommy at the end of the day, and he's not going to tell you what's true and what's not.
Maybe there's more than just Tommy and him. There's a few other people that have been around.
And that would give our journalist reporter character motivation for being there.
Oh, and more information to, like, expose to Alex to be like, this is some shady shit's happening.
See, in my mind, because I really like the kind of Tom Clancy-esque aspects of this, but to kind of flip it a little bit, where there's been manipulation on the president to act against presidential nature. Gee, I wonder who does the opposite of what he should be doing. If there's an opposite, and that could be happening within sleep. He's seeing bad outcomes for one way, and so he does it the opposite in real life.
Well, it's essentially what Inception was doing, where they're planting an idea in this guy's subconscious so that he will behave a certain way that they want.
And maybe Tommy's not an agent for some secret black ops government thing. He could be working for the Russians.
See, and I wonder if there isn't a whole aspect of this where the whole point was creating these sleep assassins, but the point is training other people how to be a sleep assassin. Like maybe the concept was that this Christopher Plummer character is like, he doesn't just, because he can't trust these psychics who are just in the world. He wants somebody who's on his payroll who knows how to do this.
Yeah, pretty much.
He wants black ops guys who are sociopathic to do this. And if you get a bunch of psychics, you are not guaranteed they're going to be sociopaths or psychopaths.
Yeah.
You could have a lot of fun with what Jay was saying, though, is where they're trying to manipulate his dreams to make him do what they want to do, but he starts to resist, and that's why they move to the assassination plan.
Yeah.
Right? Like where he's going, no, I know this isn't right. Right?
Yeah. Or, I mean, it still works without having a Russian angle. Like what they have now still works today.
Ooh. Or you can still have the strong bit, like the part of his subconscious that's really fighting against it, which bothered me that they didn't really address in the movie. Like, I believe his wife is dead because she shows up in the dream. He's a single president. Like, I see her picture on the sideboard, and she's not there. And so I just assumed she was dead, and part of this was like him dealing with his grief of losing his wife. But you could have it where this subconscious bit that is his wife is the part that's really resisting all this stupid crap, and she's become dangerous.
That could be
an interesting idea.
Yeah. It would certainly make the dream sequences a lot more interesting.
Yeah. Well,
I was thinking of like
there.
mixing this with like the House of Cards kind of world. Like that's fascinating.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
I'm sure that our remake would be longer but more interesting. Because there's a lot of filler stuff in this movie. Like there's that really long, ridiculous motorcycle chase scene.
Yeah, and it's not good. That's something modern directing, I think, can help with. But even in '84, they could put together a good chase sequence.
Yes,
and it just wasn't interesting. Most of this real world stuff was actually pretty boring. When he was being chased or whatever, or beaten down, and even when the guys like were at the beginning of the movie, when he's making money off the horses. And these guys come out of nowhere. Well, you're always right. Like, who are these people? And they just want in on the racket.
Yeah.
Like,
and you know that they'll be here. Like, that's what bothers me the most. You know they work here, and this is where you come to pull your scam. What the fuck is wrong with you?
Yeah.
You may be psychic, but you're stupid.
And it
if you're psychic, you have like 20 different bookies that you just work around. So it doesn't seem like, and in fact, you intentionally lose a few bucks along the way just to keep everybody off your tail.
I always thought he'd be more transient too. If he's looking to disappear, why does he have an apartment and stay in the same place and go to the same racetrack? It doesn't make any sense.
That whole bit of the story.
Psychic doesn't mean smart.
Yeah, just
true, but
it's another part of the story that feels wedged in, right? It feels like it was supposed to be there to sort of speak to his character as to what he's doing with his talents, and how he's essentially wasting them. right?
Mm-hmm.
But it never really works. It doesn't materialize into anything that actually makes sense for the story.
You're right. Like because it feels weird. Like he shouldn't be this. If he disappeared at the beginning, the whole point is he didn't want to be found. Why not go the way where you're not found?
Yeah.
Like make yourself far enough away that people in a station wagon can't just come and get you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that makes the story a little harder, but to sort of get him into the story. But yeah, I think that you could write it better where they find him through his activities as a gambler,
as a person who's just a little too lucky.
Yeah, like where they hear about this guy who seems to be winning at crap tables all throughout the country.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, part of the problem is that you can only do craps in Vegas, right?
And Charles Prince probably finds out too.
Everybody in this movie's a little, or not everybody, but some of them are a little dodgy. Like Max von Sydow was his mentor, and pretty much kidnaps him because he's not going to come willingly.
Yeah.
And
then blackmails him to stay.
Yeah.
I mean, I might have manipulated it a little differently, going, well, you could go back out there where people are waiting to kill you, or you could stay here and work with me, safe.
Well,
that would have been a whole lot less dodgy than let's sick the IRS on you.
Yeah.
And then there's parts of it too where he's talking with Christopher Plummer, and he's like, "Well, you corrupted my research," and Christopher Plummer says, "Will you let me?" And I'm sitting there going, like, "Yeah, Max von Sydow, this really shady guy comes to you and finances your research, and you think nothing creepy is happening?
Mm-hmm.
What's wrong with you? You're supposed to be smart."
Yeah, and he's like, he's looking the other way for that funding. To get that funding.
He does not really come across as the benevolent scientist.
No.
At all. And I mean...
It's kind of layers of evil with these guys.
Oh, absolutely.
There's no... When you really think about it, the only person in this whole movie...
is Kate Capshaw.
Yeah.
Is Kate Capshaw, who's really
innocent.
is altruistic.
Yeah.
And even Charles Prince, in a way, he's probably also the most redeemable of all the characters.
Oh, sure.
But we also spend no time with him,
Yeah, we don't know.
I mean, he could have had his own motives as well. I mean, everybody has a motive.
Yeah. I mean, he's...
all the time.
He's trying to get in there, but he's obviously researching for another book, so he kind of wants shit to go south, so he has something to write about.
Or at least be able to uncover something really shady that he can write about,
Yeah, because in the end of the day, if he's doing research on this and they're not obviously not willingly giving him information, that he's got to go behind their backs to do so. Like, he doesn't... He sounds more like an investigative reporter than a novelist.
Because Trish mentioned that, and I think changing him to a journalist is better.
Yeah, because I think using him as a novelist, it doesn't make a lot of sense, because I would think they would give him at least limited access to what's going on as a witness, so that he could incorporate it into another book.
Yeah, because when
he comes off way more conspiratorial than a novelist should be.
Yeah, the only reason he's a novelist is so that Alex could recognize him from his books. That's the only reason he was a novelist.
But it makes more sense what you're saying, Jay. Like with the novelist, they'd be like, "Oh, it's just a novelist. We don't have to worry about that." When somebody says investigative report, they're like, "Don't tell him anything because he'll make us look bad." That's what it is.
I mean, these days, I would say he'd be like...
It seems ridiculous.
An investigative reporter for like a small website or whatever, not a major outlet, trying to get a scoop somewhere. Yeah. And you can think about that, like he'd be kind of manic or whatever,
or accidentally stumbling upon something real.
It could be fun too, is because maybe he writes about paranormal, supernatural stuff, so people kind of don't really take him seriously. Except that he always seems to uncover something that makes you wonder if it's true or not.
He's kind of a lone gunman.
Yeah, and then you can have Alex interested in it because Alex is psychic and has psychic abilities, so he or she reads the blog to see what's going on and to make sure that this person who's really in the know isn't getting too close to the Alex character. Right? It's like, I know who you are and you're getting too fucking close.
Yeah. Oh yeah, to read about it to make sure that you're not getting caught doing anything.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
And that would play more to the character of Alex as well.
Yeah, I mean, this is a character that you could have just eliminated from the film and it would have made a damn bit of difference. But, I did like certain aspects of it. And I'm like, yeah, we could use this guy and really build him up into something different.
Because I think the character was important. I just don't think it was used very well.
Yeah.
Yes.
Because certainly we needed that person to sort of open Alex's eyes. Because Jane wasn't really aware of what was going on. Max von Sydow wasn't really aware of what was going on.
Well, Jane just thinks she's at a university doing research.
Yeah,
she has no idea it's government funded.
Yeah, and I think there should be a little more upfront that, yes, this is a lab doing sleep studies. It's not a college lab. Like, this is maybe privately funded. So it doesn't seem so altruistic, and that's why Max is bringing him in as an outsider, because deaths are happening, something shady, and he needs Alex in there, not to just facilitate his studies,
because he trusts him.
But he trusts him, and he can uncover who's doing this.
Yeah. And it makes Alex more of a scoundrel, but genuinely a good person. Alex never does anything to hurt anybody else. But does use their abilities for maybe questionable means. Yeah, there's been multiple like crime stories. I'm sure you can find a crime podcast that's told one of these stories, like where a nurse is facilitating the deaths of a patient. And that's kind of what's happening here. Is somebody with a specialized skill is killing off research subjects. Just because how will they know? They can't see in the dream. The only person who knows what's going on in the dream is the person with the ability to go into it. And that leads to some fun stuff with Tommy, because there's this point where Tommy says, nobody else can do what I can do. Right? And that sort of hints at that Tommy's can do more than just go into a dream and
you got to figure we already know one guy's got wiped out at the beginning of the film, so there's more than just Tommy, and Tommy's got an inferiority complex in real life that translates to, hey, I need to be at the top of the heap, I'm going to take out the competition.
And I had a fun thought about Tommy too, and you may not like it, but I like the idea that Tommy cannot and will not sleep unless he's going into somebody else's dream. He's always afraid somebody's going to come into his.
Well, that would explain the paranoia of the character.
It would, I think that, and having that small guy looking kind of haggard and like he doesn't really sleep very much would make for a really interesting visual.
And you could also have a junkie-esque look, because you can take some medications that kind of really slow down like you're dreaming, because they want you to go into like a deep sleep. So I think those. He could be addicted to those.
I think he's addicted to the experience, and I'm sure they're using some drugs to facilitate entry into the dreams in the first place. So we could have all sorts of cool stuff happening there.
I'd like to develop that character a little more, because the interactions we have with him, he's very unlikable.
He's a pretty flat character. I mean, everybody's kind of flat.
Everybody is. I mean, the actors in this are kind of misused because
they're more like
so much talent, and nobody really seems like a developed character.
It's kind of weird how Dennis Quaid was in so many interesting films that could be remade, but never became like an A-list star considering his talent.
He was huge.
He was big in the
while.
80s, but it just none of those movies seem to resonate anymore.
It's true.
Yeah. I mean, Inner Space to a certain extent, but it's like he's got more cultish movies than anything.
Yeah. He never got that one that kind of had that staying power.
Yeah, Dennis Quaid is one of those actors who everybody knows who Dennis Quaid is, but has trouble naming any of his movies.
Yeah.
It's almost as if it was between like him and Kevin Costner, and Kevin Costner just found that one movie that blew him big, and Dennis didn't.
Which brings an interesting point. Kevin Costner was supposed to be Tommy Ray.
Yep.
Yeah, which this was a good place where I'm glad he turned it down.
Yes, for sure.
Because it wasn't near developed enough character for him to play to begin with. I mean, it might have been early in his career, but it definitely wasn't good enough for that. And I know that's why he turned it down, was because he wasn't the lead, right?
Well, and he didn't want to play a bad guy.
Right.
Yeah, he was not interested in playing the bad guy.
And he didn't even do that until fairly recently.
That's right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, he really was, say what you want about Kevin Costner. He made a few mistakes career-wise, but for the most part, he's directed his career really, really well.
I think so, too, yeah.
Yeah.
He had so many hits that we kind of got tired of him there for a while.
For a while there, yeah.
I think that's what hurt his career. It was just like big epic after big epic.
Yeah.
And then he took off for a little while, had fun with his band, and then...
Yeah.
Came back and
he's done some
movies.
interesting stuff again. Yeah.
That's how you do it, guys.
Yeah. Any other characters you want to kind of reinvigorate here? Those are the key characters, and I think we kind of got an underlying theme. We want to play a little bit more with that conspiratorial Clancy aspect to this and play that up a little bit more.
I cast that way with that in mind, just because I know that a lot of people were like, well, why is the whole political thing in here? But I think it has the opportunity to really show that Alex is capable of great things, and his motivations are not always selfish.
Yeah.
Well, and I think, too, the political bit sort of makes sense. I mean, you're going to have a government-funded agency. Again, they're just looking to weaponize shit.
Yeah.
And this is the perfect way to do it because, as he said, they die in their sleep.
Yeah.
Like the woman had a heart attack.
There's nothing. There's nothing to tie anybody to it. It's the perfect Black Ops opportunity to do it.
It really is.
And if you can start doing it from a distance, remotely, rather than being next to each other in chairs, that's the ultimate goal for them.
Somebody who doesn't need to be hooked up to do it, or again, as we're talking about, like additional drugs that we're figuring out, like Inception does, the right mix can make anybody capable of doing this.
Yep, government-sponsored monsters.
Yeah, and I like actually
you can manipulate the whole world scene with that.
You could very easily, and I think that's where I would go with Alex at the end of the movie, and the Bob Blair character is Bob's realized that Alex has already surpassed Tommy Ray because Alex can go in without drugs, without any devices. He can just go in whenever he wants, and I think that's where we get into the scene where he figures out a way to eliminate Bob, because he doesn't want to be used that way.
Yeah,
right. And I think that would give Alex a more satisfying end is if he's forced into a position where he doesn't want to be.
Yeah,
and
it's the Man of Steel ending. I have to kill him to save all these people.
But we're not going to kill him. I don't think we should kill him. I think that we should trap him in his own mind.
I think so too. That would be it's that ironic justice, right?
Exactly, and I think it would work better.
I think so too.
Yeah, like where Alex is so powerful, like he starts his dream where it seems normal and everything, and then Alex is like, "Yeah, I've seen you subconscious. I know your darkest fears," and he traps him in this area, is like going, "Yeah, you know you can't escape from this," and he just keeps him going, keeps him running through this loop.
Of terror, right? Like not just trapping in his mind, but a terrifying trap in his mind.
Oh yeah,
right?
that's.
And at the end, Alex would be like, "Yeah, you'll wish I killed you at the end of this."
And I think that it would be kind of fun to not have Blair realize that it was Alex that saved him.
Yeah,
that saved the president. Right? You can make it be like sort of a complete mystery at first. Right?
Oh, or have the president be like, "No, I killed him." Like just. To tell him that
to protect Alex.
Yeah, I don't even think the president should be aware of the program. Like, everything should be happening remotely.
Yeah,
we can start off with the chairs, and then Tommy develops the ability to project as well from a distance, and that's something Alex has to catch up to. And so, whatever's happening with the president's dream, he's playing catch up to try to save the president. He learns about the plot, but president's never there. President's never really aware of what could have happened, just only aware of the dream he's just had, and it was wake up going, well, that was weird.
That could be that could work, because you have to deal with that with the fallout from that, right? But I like the whole relationship between,
because he shouldn't even be aware of the program. Let's face it, how much have we seen? And especially our president, they're probably not telling him much of anything, because Jesus, if he knew about it, he'd use it.
For sure. I mean, this president, I think, is supposed to be a good president.
And I think ours should be too.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. Like, that's what Blair does, is like, oh no, he's a good president. We can't really have that. We want somebody who's really prepared to push that button. And because that's the only way people will stay in line, apparently.
Yeah. I mean, it's kind of like where you're going, Jay, but I think that maybe the president should be having trouble sleeping, because I think with what Trish was saying with the loss of his wife, he's having.
Oh no, I love that.
Yeah.
No,
So he's just coming into for a sleep study. He knows that there's sleep studies, but he doesn't know about the program.
I kind of want him to believe that his wife saved him, because then Alex and Tommy are sort of removed.
Well, we can see they can change forms, and that would be kind of some nice closure for him.
Yeah.
I agree. If he didn't realize who these people were within in his dreams, so he's being terrorized by some monster or whatever. Meanwhile, Alex is like, okay, I need to manipulate this without him being super aware of what's actually happening here. Just create more conspiracies in the president's mind. We don't need that. So if he makes himself appear as his wife, I like that.
Yeah,
I like that.
I think so. It totally makes sense that he's not aware too. Like it keeps that covered.
Yeah, and then you get rid of that whole clumsy bit where it's like, well, he's a really powerful man. I don't know what we're going to do about him.
Yeah, we can establish with his death of his wife maybe during his presidency.
Absolutely.
That first dream
well, not even in the dream. We can cover it like in that opening moments, even with Alex, seeing it subtly on TV screens where they're talking about the president and the loss of his wife.
Yeah.
And it just in the background, so if you're paying attention, you're catching the setup.
Yeah. You can have that whole thing where, again, it's like the crazy news, like going, well, the president's lost his wife. He seems to be in a lot of grief. Is he really capable of fulfilling his duties as president right now?
Yeah, there should be some questions, I dig that.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yay, guys.
Going in an interesting direction.
Yeah. All right. Well, are you guys ready for some recasting?
Always.
Yes.
All right. So let's get it.
Hey guys, it's the girls from Grave Girls Podcast. It's me, your host Hawthorne.
And Hazel.
And for our first time ever, we're doing a collab with Invasion of the Remake.
Brum, brum, brum.
The movie they chose for us is called Dreamscape. It's from the 1980s. It's kind of like a old version of Inception, kind of.
Kind of, yeah.
Yeah, it's like about dreams. It's like action-y. There's some scary images, a little bit of romance, and I really thought it was gonna suck, but it was good.
It was really good. Like, I would buy this.
I think I'm gonna watch it again.
For sure.
Because my husband, he loves everything 80s, okay? Mm-hmm. Everything 80s, everything action. This is totally up his alley, and I usually am, like, on the fence with these movies, so I went in like, oh, it's gonna be so boring. It was really, really, really good.
When it starts off, you're like, and it just goes ham.
Yeah.
Right there, it's good.
So, Invasion of the Remake, in case you guys don't know, they cast newer actors or whatever actors they want for roles in movies. And that's what we did. So, I'm going to go first, and then Hazel, and we'll take turns from there. So, here we go. So, the main character of the movie is a psychic named Alex. He was like, you know, at 19, the most whatever psychic. He's kind of like an action-y, really nimble.
He would be the hot guy.
Yeah, take charge type. Mm-hmm. So, one of my personal favorite actors is who I chose for the role, and it's Shia LaBeouf.
That's a really good one.
Thank you.
I chose Bradley Cooper.
Ooh, Bradley Cooper's super good.
So good.
So then, basically, the psychic's whole job is to try and protect the president, who is having nightmares about his, like, assassination, kind of. So, that's who we'll talk about next.
So, for the president, I chose Pierce Brosnan. He's the dad in Mamma Mia.
Oh, that, like, old dude?
Yes.
Yeah. He's good looking.
He is. He really, really
He'd be like
is.
a hot president.
Mm-hmm.
Mine is not hot in any way, shape, or form. I chose J.K. Simmons. He's Juno's dad in the movie Juno. He's in a bunch of other stuff, but that's just what I chose him from.
We're just picking movies that are pretty popular that we think that people would know.
I tried to go, like, who I would think would be, like, the president. So for me, Juno's dad was, like, just really, like, wholesome-y and, like, dad. And, like, I don't know, I could see him slaying the Snake Man.
Oh, yeah.
In the movie. Another main character in the movie is a female scientist, Dr. Jane, and who I thought would be perfect for the role is Emma Stone.
Yes.
I love her. I love her so much. She's from La La Land or Easy A.
Oh, yeah.
Really I love that movie. Secretly.
I picked Jennifer Lawrence.
Ooh, that'd be really good.
Well, Bradley Cooper and Jennifer Lawrence both have a good romantic action.
Oh, they have, like, really good chemistry.
Yes, on film.
I agree.
I feel like they would go perfect. And the next one is a scientist.
Oh, yeah. The one who, like, it's the project to go into people's dreams is basically his baby. He was a very important character, but he gets murdered. I hate that part.
I chose Hugh Laurie from House.
Oh, Dr. House.
Yes, Dr. House.
I never knew his real name. I just call him Dr. House. I took a more modern approach to probably all the rest of my characters because I made them all kind of, like, younger. Mm-hmm. So my scientist would be Matthew Gray Gubler from Criminal Minds. He plays Spencer Reed. He's like that, you know, bookie type. And I don't know. I could just see it fitting him, you know. Like, he's a young scientist who came up with this amazing idea and this concept, and people are just trying to exploit it. So that goes into our next character, who is Bob Blair. He is the guy who, he, like, funds the whole thing. And he's the one who has trained the next character we're talking about to, like, kill people in dreams. So, but Bob Blair is, like, a really, like, businessy type, flashy, like, smooth talker. Yeah. So I chose John Hamm, who is Donald Draper in Mad Men. He has, like, that silver spoon kind of
love
tongue.
him.
Yeah.
They got, like, a dark inside of them, you know? I chose...
Powerful type?
Oh, yes. Yeah, for Bob Blair, I would cast Matthew Modine. He's Papa from Stranger Things.
Papa! Yeah, he'd be good, because Bob Blair is fucking vile. He's evil
he's
as
ruthless.
fuck.
And our next person is Tommy.
Tommy is like the new up-and-coming psychic. He's younger than the main character Alex, and he's like been doing the dream thing. He can like control every aspect of the dream. He can like morph himself into a monster and create things. Yeah, Bob Blair kind of like takes him under his wing and uses him for his evil things. So who would your Tommy be?
Robin Taylor, which is Penguin from Gotham.
Oh my god, that would be perfect!
On point!
Mine is probably a not well-known actor at all. I've only ever seen him in one film, but like the second I saw like the type of character, I was like, this has to be him. So I chose Ezra Miller. He plays Kevin in the movie We Need to Talk About Kevin. Our last one is... I don't know his name. We need to look it up. I wrote Fat Dude, and that's not going to cut it.
So did I.
And we're going to look up his name right now. The last character we're going to cast for our remake of the movie Dreamscape is... Okay, so the last character we're going to talk about in the movie Dreamscape is named
Charlie Pritz.
He plays like the conspiracy theorist dude. He writes horror books, and he talks to the main character Alex saying like, hey, that dude Tommy ain't good. He's a killer, blah, blah, blah. And then right as he tells that to Dennis Quaid in the movie, they murder him. Bob Blair's little thugs or whatever murder him right there. So my conspiracy theorist kind of dude, I chose David Krumholtz, who is the guy from Numbers, the smart one.
That's a good one.
He seems a good, like, no one would believe him, and yeah.
Mine is John C. Reilly from Step Brothers.
Oh, I never knew his real name. I'm always like, the dude from Step Brothers.
Dragon.
Yes. Nighthawk. And there you go, guys. That was our actors we would cast if we were to remake the amazing film Dreamscape, which I'm very glad you guys chose it for us. It was really, really good. I was surprised, us being the queens of horror. I liked it. It had enough action and horror.
It was definitely an honor, and thank you so much.
We love you all in case we die.
Bye!
No time for the theme music. We gotta get going. This is a super short episode. I'm Mike.
I'm Morgan.
And we are Bad Reception. We're doing a super mini episode for Invasion of the Remake. Morgan, what are we watching?
We're watching Dreamscape.
And what do we normally watch?
We normally watch bad TVs shows.
So this is different from the regular.
I just realized I said Dreamscape and not Dreamscape.
Dreamscape?
So normally what we would do is we would pick a show that we're going to watch, and then we make a brief prediction on what we think is going to happen in that show, and then we go away and we go watch the show, and then we come back and give you a synopsis and tell you what we thought was good and or bad about it. But we do not have time to No time. So we're going to briefly just guess what we think this movie is about.
Morgan, what's Dreamscape about?
Dreamscape is about, so it's Dennis Quaid, and he makes himself very small, and he goes inside of somebody. Okay, it's Dennis Quaid, and he's on the radio, and he's talking to his son 30 years in the future.
Pretty sure that's not the right one.
It's not that one. It's his real life story of him being married to Meg Ryan.
Nope, it's the one where he becomes a baseball player.
There it is. I'm going to guess that we're going to be Freddy style in our dreams and battling something.
Dream demons.
What
is something we're going to see in this episode? Episode. Oh no, it's a movie.
Oh shit. We're going to see panthers, and we're going to see claws from demon fingers, and we're going to see hot dog stands and popcorn fairies.
My prediction is that we're going to see at least 2 scenes with Dennis Quaid with his shirt off.
Yes.
And maybe a Steven Spielberg reference.
And I'm hoping, it's what's her face? Kate Capshaw. Kate Capshaw.
Kate Capshaw.
That's a good vocal warm-up. Do we think we're going to get some nice high-cut 80s panties?
I think it's imperative that we do.
Okay, good. All right.
Well, let's see what this is.
All right. Okay, cool.
Goodbye.
Okay, bye. Love you.
And we're back. We just watched the Dreamscape. Right, Morgan?
Yep, that was the title of that movie.
Okay, so we always like to say something nice about what we watched before we say anything negative. So Morgan, what's something nice you can say about this movie?
For the most part, I like the premise. I like playing on entering people's nightmares.
Mhm.
I think that's fascinating as someone who has very vivid and often reoccurring nightmares.
Mhm.
It's something that fascinates me. So that's a good thing that I like about this movie.
Okay, so you like the concept.
For the most part, I like the concept. There are some elements to it that I
Okay, we'll get into
jive
it.
with.
But we're just saying something nice.
Yes.
I'm going to say that something that I liked was the design of the dreams. Like the old dated effects and the production design really worked. Even though they look dated, it gave it this kind of weird otherworldly feeling. And I thought it was pretty cool. Okay, Morgan, fantasy recast. Should I go first or do you want to go first?
I want you to go first.
Okay, so I'm gonna do this as if we could go back in time and change who's in this. I actually think that this movie is fairly well cast. I think Dennis Quaid is a pretty good lead. Pretty much everybody in it works fine. I think Kate Capshaw her character is underwritten. There's not a lot for her to do, but I think that she's fine in it.
I didn't think that she had as much. Her charisma did not match the level of Mr. Dennis Quaid.
Well, sure. And Christopher Plummer's given nothing to do in this movie.
Yeah, agreed.
But I love David Patrick Kelly. He's the bad guy in it, and he's super over the top. But if I was doing fantasy recast for our lead, I'm between two guys. Kurt Russell, because he is the man in the 80s. He's charismatic, he's handsome, and he's a smartass. So he's basically Dennis Quaid, except better.
Yeah.
But you could also go with Jeff Bridges, who young Jeff Bridges, even handsomer than either of the two, and smarmy and sassy as well. So I think both those guys could really pull it off, at least as good as Dennis Quaid, maybe better. I say leave Max von Sydow as is. He's perfect.
Yeah.
I recast Kate Capshaw with Michelle Pfeiffer. If we can just get whoever we want.
But she would have been, I think, are we supposed to believe that Kate Capshaw's the same age as Dennis Quaid? Because I was feeling like she was an older, established doctor.
I think they're supposed to be around the same age.
Okay.
I don't know. This is magic.
Okay.
I'm going to say John Lithgow as Christopher Plummer.
Okay.
Let's just amp it up.
Yeah.
Amp it up.
Crazy.
And then while we're getting crazy, replace David Patrick Kelly, young Nick Cage.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
That's
all right, Morgan. And if I could change the director, which I think we should because it's a big problem in this movie, change it to Joe Dante, somebody who knows how to balance both comedy and horror and also practical effects and like a Spielberg-esque tone that this movie kind of lacked in.
Okay, modern day. This is really hard because I was like, I want to keep the same kind of age group because initially I would think that Chris Pratt is a pretty he could hold it down. But if I were to age it down a little bit, I'm probably going to butcher his name. The kid from Solo, the Han Solo story.
Oh yeah,
Alden Ehrenreich. Alden Ehrenreich, and I'm probably butchering that.
Yeah, people know he's the new Han Solo.
He's the new Han Solo. I think not necessarily as charismatic, like he doesn't ooze as much, but he's still somebody who I feel like he's got a decent amount of gravitas where you want to.
Okay, I haven't seen enough of him, but he's impressed me in what I've seen.
I really liked him in what's the
Hail
Coen
Caesar.
Brothers? Hail Caesar. I think that kind of level of charm.
Yeah, I could see it. It could work.
And then I just absolutely adore this woman, and I'm excited to see what she does. But I would love to see a Tessa Thompson replacing Kate Capshaw.
It's a tough name.
It is really, really tough. And this is where I'm having some problems.
Okay.
How do we replace Mr. Max von Sydow?
Who I was thinking? Do you want me to tell you who I was thinking?
Yeah, I want to hear what you want to think.
Brendan Gleeson.
Huh. Yeah. All right. I like that.
He's older. He's got a gravitas, but he's also likable. Like he can be the authority figure, but also like somebody that's like your bud.
And then what's the bad guy's name in it? I can't remember.
David Patrick Kelly.
Sure. Casey Affleck is a little too old, I guess, if I'm going to cast down like this. But I think a Dane DeHaan would be really interesting and creepy.
Yeah, for sure. I was thinking Dane DeHaan as well.
Awesome. And then, so the direction here, I would like to see it darker, which I know kind of takes away from a lot of the fun part of it, to kind of downplay the humor and silliness. And like a Cary Fukunaga, I would like to kind of step into a true, like just that kind of dark tone.
Real fucking gritty.
Really gritty. I would love to see. Just because, again, I wanted to live in the nightmare a little bit more.
Yeah.
And also remove the whole political thriller aspect of it. I thought that was not necessary.
I think you can make it work. I was going to say, like, you could do it like get the Duffer Brothers and do it kind of like
the Duffer Brothers would be great.
in the Stranger Things kind of way, but it's so on the nose. Like, I mean, it's so much like Stranger Things.
Yeah.
The political thriller aspect of it is a little bit weird and forced. Also, like, it takes like an hour and 10 minutes before we get
into it.
The dream stuff. It takes forever before we're even given the premise that you can die in your dreams.
Yeah.
That's not even established until almost at the end of the movie.
No, for sure.
Like, that should be like the first thing in the movie, somebody dies in a dream. Now we know those are the stakes. Because for the first hour, I was like, who cares that he can go into people's dreams?
Yeah,
like,
absolutely.
what the hell does that do? Nothing. Like, I guess he helps a kid not be afraid of a snake man.
Yeah. Again, I was like, I would like to live more in the realm of this is a sleep study, or you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because then
just make it Nightmare on Elm Street.
It should be. I mean, it should be Nightmare on Elm Street.
Unfortunately, there's already a movie that does that, but
we even have a moment in the movie where he has claws and he
makes knives on his fingers. Yeah,
not guts them. He rips out his heart.
I think
a heart, Michael.
Is there any other final thoughts you have? Because we're out of time.
Nope, that's the end of it. And credits.
That's the end of it. I think this was a fun movie. Could have been a lot better. A remake would be interesting.
Yeah, it is fun. It is a lot of fun. I would say get some buds gathered, pour a couple drinks, and check it out.
All right, we've been Mike and Morgan, and we are from the Bad Reception Podcast. Goodbye.
Okay, bye. Love you.
Hey, everybody. This is Shauna.
And this is Trisha.
And this is Two Girls on a Bench,
the podcast visiting another podcast. Invasion of the Remake.
Woo! We are invading their podcast today.
We have dragged our bench over to join Sam, Trish, and Jason to talk about the movie Dreamscape. And I also just want to say, Trish, what a great name.
I mean,
right?
It's a good one. It's a good one, for sure.
I will get right into this because we have a lot to say. I know you're wondering what our snack book was for the movie, and it was popcorn and wine, or maybe wine with a little popcorn.
There was a lot of popcorn, though.
There was a lot of wine also.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
there was a lot of talking. But in watching the movie, we realized we already watched this movie like 10 years ago.
Yeah, I had this idea that this movie was great because I remembered watching it, I guess, when I was a kid or something, because I love dream stuff. I mean, we both do. Everybody does.
We were writing a piece about something with dreams and night terrors.
So I was like, there's this great movie called Dreamscape, Trisha. And then we watched it, and I was like, oh, no. And I think we wrote a blog about it, but I can't find it. So we watched it again.
Yes, we did.
With new eyes. And this movie is from 1984. So
such a good year.
Keep that in mind.
For special effects.
Yeah, directed by Joseph Rubin, who directed some good movies. Sleeping with the Enemy. I love that movie.
Yeah, I do too.
It's scary. And The Good Son.
Scary
Macaulay Culkin.
Yeah.
So, I mean, like, he's done some good movies. And not to say, I feel like this movie was good when it came out.
Probably.
It just does not stand the test of time, unfortunately, guys. Sorry.
The green screen and the like claymation.
It's mostly the effects.
Yeah.
And the story and some
and
of the
also
dialogue.
the acting. Wait, what?
The notes that we have, we're just going to kind of go through them. We're not going to like tell the whole story because maybe you can just go watch the movie, rent it, because that's what we had to do because we couldn't find it on any free platform.
Rent it and then listen to our list slowly as you go through it.
Yeah.
It'll be like just like you were with us.
It'll be the same.
We were laughing a lot.
Yeah.
So that was fun.
Yeah. So the first note that we have is gambling. That's what I'd do if I was psychic. Because he's at like the horse track. And I was like, yeah, hell yeah.
Yep.
Right? Like this guy's psychic. It's Dennis Quaid.
Yeah, he's very svelte.
He's the young Dennis Quaid. 1984 Dennis
He's a little
Quaid.
cutie.
Oh, by the way, the poster for this movie looks like the poster for Indiana Jones.
Almost identical.
And it came out the same year as Indiana Jones. And the chick that's in this movie, Kate Capshaw, is like the main chick in the first Indiana Jones.
Yeah.
So I was like, I don't get it. Why did they?
We're wondering if they hired the same artist to do the posters.
So it looks nothing like what the movie's like.
Yeah, the poster's super deceptive. It looks more like an action
like
movie.
They should have put them in
Indiana
a
Jones.
lab or something because it's all about like sleep study and sleep
also,
stuff.
Indiana Jones is so good with the effects and does stand up. So then when you watch this one, you're like, could you have done some things differently?
It's a little
maybe?
funky. I don't know. They tried. It was good back then. So anyway, there's a lot of Dorothy Hamill hairdos.
For some reason, Dennis Quaid has a saxophone. We're guessing so that he's seen as the bad boy.
He just randomly picks up a saxophone in his apartment, and we're like, why is that happening?
It wasn't important
He's
at all.
So cool.
Yeah.
And then there's these guys that come to get him that have turtlenecks on. They're like the turtleneck squad.
In Los Angeles.
Maybe like
they're
with like the mob or
double
something.
layers too, like a lot of like a button up and then like a sweater and then like a suit jacket over it. And we were just like, how are they not just dripping with sweat? Because they're clearly in Los Angeles.
Yeah,
they say
they're like driving around, and you can tell if you're
Nobody
from
wears
here.
that in LA. They don't even sell those kinds of sweaters.
Maybe they did in 1984. I mean, I don't remember. I didn't live there.
I think we had just moved here. Yeah,
but so they pick him up in like a wood paneled station wagon, which really took us back.
Both of our families had those.
It really took us back.
But it was interesting that the Dreamscape people had. That's what their vehicle of choice was for kidnapping.
Yeah, because they were like mob characters.
Yeah,
something to do with his gambling and his shadiness of his psychicness.
You think they would have had like a black SUV, although there weren't SUVs, but
I don't know.
Anyways,
black Cadillac.
What else?
So Dennis Quaid. So they go through. They're showing that he's like this like famous psychic or whatever, or I don't know. That's not 100%
has a history
clear.
of somehow
he was in studies
being
before.
tested. Yeah.
Apparently, he's left-handed and can write backwards, which I wrote down because I thought that was really important.
And then we find out that in the sleep study center where they want him to do this another study, which he's refusing to do but ends up doing anyways, they're studying men's erections in sleep so they can like fix erectile dysfunction.
Yeah, and we're like, fuck that. Yeah. Why are they doing that?
We're like, there's so many things you could study in that.
All this research money,
priority.
And that's what you guys are working on. Once again,
so then
that's not cool.
Yeah.
Okay, so there's a bunch of people that we start recasting at this point. So Max von Sydow. I guess he's a Swedish actor. So we decided we would recast him as Christopher Waltz, who, if you don't know, was in Inglourious Bastards and a bunch of other movies. He's an amazing actor. And we think that he would be a good recast. Actually, fairly similar to that guy, honestly, sort of the modern day him.
Mannerisms that were kind of similar. Yeah.
So he was going to be good. There's a little boy freaking out. I'm not sure what was going on.
He's like... dreaming.
In the sleep
he's
study.
having bad dreams, and like Dennis Quaid's looking to jump in his dream and help him or something.
That happens later.
Okay.
There's like a terrible green screen, just apparently throughout this entire movie. And I just wrote it at the top of the page. Horrible green screen. We also wrote that Dennis Quaid is annoyingly psychic, and he's also shirtless a lot.
Yeah.
So that's
he's either wearing 3 layers or nothing.
I mean, and he looked good, so why not, you know? Meanwhile, while this intrigue with Dennis Quaid is going on, and Kate Capshaw, by the way, is like running the sleep center. She's like a scientist or something. And so then, meanwhile, the president of the United States keeps dreaming about like a nuclear holocaust.
Yeah.
With like his wife running away
and,
from like a mushroom cloud.
Screaming and blowing up and shit. So, okay, what else do we have on here?
Oh, Dennis Quaid also has short shorts. And it went, Christopher Plummer. I don't really know what his character was. Did he work for the president?
I feel like he was like some kind of advisor for the president, but also he
the
was
company.
in on like trying to do he was a bad guy.
So we were drinking and talking throughout this entire movie.
Guys,
so we might have missed some of the plot.
Yeah.
Okay, anyway. He had a really tight jacket on at one point, and that really bothered us.
Oh, man. Yeah. So, you know, when you're a guy and you wear a suit jacket, like you unbutton it when you sit down so, like, it'll fit, like, your body. So he was wearing it, and it was just, like, stretched.
It was, like, barely
he was
hanging
like,
on.
I'm still the same size I was in Sound of Music, you guys. Like, I can pull this jacket off. And, like, they were like, okay, Chris.
And
the
costume designer was
or
like,
Sir Plumber, or, like, whatever you call him.
Yeah, Sir Plumber. That's so funny. I don't know. He might be.
What else?
So somehow, let's see. We decided to recast Christopher Plummer as Jimmy Smits because we thought he would kind of be like a good modern equivalent of that.
Yeah.
And then, so he's gonna...
Don't open a crooked door. I think that's from the dream part.
So he's gonna jump in this guy's dream.
Oh, the kid's dream.
Oh,
right?
and see why his dick is limp. Maybe we just said that. because of the whole like erection thing. We're like, what the fuck is going on?
Okay, so we forgot there's a guy that's in the sleep study thing too. That's like the badass of dreaming. Like he's like, I'm gonna dream harder than you.
He's like the ninja dreamer.
He like comes in. He's just like Dennis Quaid. We'll see who dreams the best.
You know who plays that is this guy that's been in a bunch of movies. I can't name any of them right now. His name is David Patrick Kelly. He's been in like a ton of stuff.
Yeah,
we recast him
as Jensen
Ackles
from Supernatural
because we love him and he should be in more movies.
He should be in more movies.
We really like him. Chance. Oh, so really quick, they're trying to help the little boy.
Yes,
and then this is like my favorite scene. They're walking, so he jumps. So Dennis Quaid jumps into the little boy's dream of them, and then he they're walking like up some stairs or something, and then they see the little boy's dad, and he's like, "That's my dad. He won't help us." And he's like, "Damn straight," or he says something.
Damn right, yeah,
like, and you're
you
like,
little bastard, something like that. Like, and they just keep going, and then Dennis Quaid is there to like kill this weird cobra Medusa looking
the worst
monster.
So if you look up the pictures, this is like
so bad,
such a crappy like special effect. This is what really makes it look dated.
Yeah.
Honestly, that's like the most dated thing in the movie where you're
also,
like, oh shit,
turtlenecks.
1984.
Yeah.
Okay, so
wood panel station wagon.
Finally. Okay, so I don't know what happens. Do they fix the thing with the president? This is when we were drinking a little bit too much. And also at one point, my family showed up with French fries.
They ate all our popcorn and then gave us some French fries.
Yeah, it was weird. It was kind of late.
It was very disruptive. The French fries were good.
We had to eat them. Oh,
yeah.
Apparently Dennis Quaid and Kate Capshaw have cleavage.
Yeah, because there was some kind of weird, like, sexual chemistry.
Oh, yeah, they have, like, an affair of some sort, too. Yeah, they're like, they have an affair. But also... Oh, no, they at the end, they end up together and they like go off on a train together.
Yes.
And they're all dressed up and she's wearing like a weird hat and like a pretty dress and she's got cleavage and he's got cleavage. Yeah.
The first time they have sex is in her dream on a train. He jumps in her dream and then like jumps her bones.
Oh, is okay. That's so somehow they are like, we're going to go off into the sunset on a train.
Yeah,
I don't know why. And then I don't remember what happened to the president. Did they fix his problem with the nuclear holocaust?
I think they fixed it, and somebody was implanting that into his brain to make him
so that he would do it.
Yeah.
Maybe so he would start a nuclear war.
I don't remember.
Or like
somebody else who's doing this little recap deal will probably cover that.
Yeah, we have
Someone
no
else
idea.
has to cover it. Play ours last. We're the worst. Sorry.
We are the best worst.
We're the best worst.
So really quick, here's our cast. So Dennis Quaid, we're going to recast him as Chris Hemsworth because hunky and why not?
Yeah.
Kate Capshaw, we're going to recast her as Zoe Saldana because she's beautiful and smart and we think that would be a really nice upgrade. Christopher Plummer is going to be Jimmy Smits. Max von Snyder is Christopher Waltz. There's the guy Norm from Cheers. He looked up his name so that we wouldn't be dicks. He's George Wendt. Because I was like, Norm from
George
Cheers.
Wendt.
Trisha decided he would be Jonah Hill.
Yeah.
Well, Jonah Hill's really skinny now.
Well, it doesn't matter. It's not about being a fat guy. It's just like having that like sensibility or whatever. Like
the little boy, we decided to make a girl because we're like, hey, there's no women in this movie, so we're casting this little girl who's a little snappy actress. Her name's Marseille. I don't know how to say her first name. Marseille Martin. She plays Diana on Blackish, and she's just awesome.
Yeah.
And then the president's BD Wong, and then David Patrick Kelly is Jensen Ackles, and that is our recasting of Dreamscape.
Yes. Thank you so much for having us watch this really awesome movie.
It was actually really fun, guys.
It was very fun. So,
we hope you enjoy our recast and our weird recap.
Everybody enjoy all the horror stuff.
And stay snacking, everybody.
And write bad lists when you drink wine because they're funny a couple days later.
They're funny to look at later. Bye.
I'm sorry about that, guys. We had some interference, and somehow it turned into the invasion party line. Who's in charge of security up here?
I don't know.
I didn't.
Well, I'm the captain, so I guess I had to assign it to one of you guys.
I'm the pilot.
Nope.
All right. Well,
we'll fix that though. Maybe.
That was, I don't know what's up with that.
Somebody invaded our dreams. That's what happened.
Yeah, it was. It was strange, but
not cool, guys.
I'd like to thank Mike and Morgan from Bad Reception for being on the show, as well as Trisha and Shauna from Two Girls on a Bench, and
Trish.
Hawthorne. You got something with that name, don't you?
Trisha's got to stick together.
They do. And Hawthorne and Hazel from Grave Girls doing their bit on the show that we would normally do. But don't worry, we're going to do it too.
Mm-hmm.
So that was our surprise for like hashtag all the horror. So check it out. Those shows have got their own horror specials happening right now and throughout the month of October.
There will be 31 episodes in 31 days.
From 30, wow.
I think it's about 22 different podcasts.
Right.
I think is what it came out to. So you'll see some of us doing more than one episode, but every day for the month of October, you are going to be able to find an All the Horror podcast with some of our great friends. As you heard, there's we've already heard 3 through us. Check out All the Horror 18 or at All the Horror 18. We'll be updating with the next podcast there all the time. Check out our Twitter feed. We'll be certainly supporting, posting what the next episode is going to be. So definitely watch for it. It's going to be a fun month.
Yeah, cat's out of the bag now, so now you know what's happening, and we'll do it again in a couple weeks.
Absolutely, like any good horror, you can't hide from us.
Yeah, and I think this is actually the second episode of All the Horror. So if you missed yesterday's, we'll make sure that we post that for you.
Yeah, and it's not too late to backtrack and check out all of the specials that are happening for the month of October.
Yaha.
Awesome. All right, so let's get to our own recasting. Hey, Trish.
Yeah. Hey, Jason.
How you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. You want to do this?
I do.
All right. Let's hope you got something good and not a nightmare.
I do.
It's a Dreamcast, not a nightmare cast.
It is kind of a Dreamcast.
It's a Dreamcast. I think we all kind of got Dreamcasts.
I think we do. There we go.
Because of the parallels, you will find my casting is very well paralleled. For Alex Gardner, I went with Ellen Page.
Okay.
Because of Inception.
She was one of the people that I was looking at.
Nice.
Okay.
And Dr. Jane DeVries, Olivia Wilde.
See,
because I feel Tron is very dreamlike.
It's funny because I was thinking about putting her in here because I was having trouble with her. I'm like, no, let's go outside of Jay's box.
You haven't used Olivia in a long time.
That's okay. Yeah, you've been good.
I've been trying to be good. I've been trying to not go to some of my go-tos as of late and open my casting up even more.
I think I took away like some of the stuff where I was like, I did go away from some of my casting, but I did go lean into it really good. So for Dr. Paul Novotny, that's it. I was like Novotny. I went with J.K. Simmons because I'm like, I'm putting Ellen Page in there, and I want a fatherly relationship.
No connective tissue whatsoever.
None.
IMDb, folks.
Yes, IMDb. For Bob Blair, Leonardo DiCaprio, because again, I think he could play like a smarmy government guy. The president, William Jackson Harper, because they've had a black president. Let's just go back to that.
Sure. Good times.
Tommy Ray, Cillian Murphy, who can play creepy when he really, really wants to. And then Charlie, I went with Joseph Gordon-Levitt because I just think he would be a good investigative journalist. Cast. Yeah. And then I did do Mr. Weber because I had like a little side thing where, Mr. Weber was really upset. Like he thought his wife was just screwing everyone and they go into that dream. I was literally...
Was he the I'll buy that for $1 guy?
Yes, he was.
Yes.
Yeah, I thought so. I just popped into my brain because when I was watching the movie, God, he's familiar.
Right?
But I didn't go look him up. And then it just popped into my brain, wait a minute, he's the I can buy it for $1
More
guy.
connective tissue.
RoboCop, go look at that episode.
Exactly.
That was an awesome episode.
I made that David Patrick Kelly, but I had a whole thing where it's like going, I don't think that he's afraid his wife is screwing around. I think he's gay and subconsciously trying to suppress it. That's what I thought that dream was going into.
Nice. So you got...
I had no idea.
We've kind of moved away from casting people from the originals, and that's kind of traditional for a remake. So I'm kind of glad you threw one in there.
I did.
Oh, and my director.
I got one as well.
I did director too. Catherine Bigelow, because Strange Days, she's really good at going into that POV shot.
I thought about doing Catherine Bigelow on this one, but I'm like, no, I'm going to go outside that as well because it's but it's definitely up her alley.
Yeah, it is definitely up her alley. Yeah. Well, for early career stuff, more recent stuff is definitely not that type of stuff.
Current.
She's capable of it. For sure.
Absolutely. Go ahead, Sam.
Okay. Yay. So I actually did what Trish did, and I made Alex Gardner a female character. I went with Willa Holland from the Arrow TV series because I figured if there's going to be physical action, she's already capable of it. We've already determined that because she's in an action TV series. And I really like her. I think she's a talented.
Which character is she?
She plays Speedy.
Okay. Yeah. Sorry, there's so many female characters in those shows now.
I know. I think it's wonderful.
I think it's great, but it's tough to keep them all straight in my brain.
Yeah, she's one of the original. She's his sister and Speedy.
Yes. Okay. I'm there now. Yeah.
So for Dr. Novotny, I kept him kind of German area there. I went Jürgen Prochnow. As Dr. Novotny.
I totally see that.
For my president, I went with Sigourney Weaver.
Love it.
Yeah,
I like that.
For my Bob Blair, I figured, why not? Let's put Kevin Costner in that role.
Oh, cool. I like it.
I love that.
For my Tommy Ray, I went with Cole Sprouse, who plays Jughead in the Overhead series or Riverdale series.
Yeah,
he just has the look. Like they're kind of thin and kind of gaunt and dark looking, and he's so talented as an actor. Way underrated as an actor. I think he'd be really good in this type of role.
Well, wasn't he Ben on Friends?
I think so.
Yeah, he's much younger.
Much younger. Yeah, he's been acting since he was a kid. Our first big break was Big Daddy with Adam Sandler.
Oh yes, that's it too.
Yeah. For my Jane, is now John DeVries. I went with Jack Cade, son of Dennis Quaid and Meg Ryan.
Oh, cool.
Yeah,
that's good.
For my Charlie Prince, I went with Dennis Quaid.
Nice.
Ooh, that's a good idea.
Yeah. And then for my director, I went with John Suits, who directed Scribbler.
Yes, that's a good one.
That's excellent.
Right. And if you want to talk about getting into some trippy headspaces, watch that movie.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, if it's based on a comic book, then man, yeah, Sam and I love that movie.
It is a great movie.
I love it too.
Yeah, and when I was looking for somebody who handles sort of that surreal look, I'm like, oh yes, Scribbler's perfect.
That whole movie feels like a dream. Like, I can't.
You know, for part of me wants to start a side podcast just so I could talk about obscure movies like that.
Yes. Yes. Not weekly though.
No. We'll do mini-sodes. Let's do that.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll figure it out.
Yeah.
Maybe if you want to hear us do that, maybe we'll do it on Patreon or something.
Yay!
Yeah, it might be. Yeah,
that might be a good home for it.
But yeah, that's my casting. Yeah.
Oh, excellent!
Awesome.
I like it as well. All right, for my director, I went with Doug Liman. Nice. I dig him, and I think he's kind of done head trippy stuff before and sci-fi, so he's kind of worked with a lot of the elements that are in this movie.
Well, when you're doing dreams, you got to go with somebody who knows how to do a mindfuck.
Yes.
Yeah.
And who's not Christopher Nolan or M. Night Shyamalan.
Yeah. Now, I went with a little bit of an older cast because I'm like, does it have to be in a college setting?
True.
So once I kind of had my lead, I'm like, well, now I have to make everybody older. So
that's okay. You know what? Older actors need work too.
Yeah. So my lead, and I've always liked him as a lead, but we've never seen him in a lead as a feature actor. We've seen him lead on TV series such as Lost and Intelligence. I went with Joss Holloway.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
And I think he'd be great, Alex Gardner. And he's got a certain presence to him, that cockiness that I think
scoundrelly charm.
Yeah, scoundrelly charm.
Does, yeah.
And I'm like, I would love to see this. And I think he's kind of, somebody's missing something with him. He was born in '69, so he's in his 50s. So if something's going to happen, we got to do it soon.
He's not in his 50s yet?
Almost. He's your age, Sam.
He's exactly my age. Well, he's probably a little bit
a year
older.
younger. Yeah, like 69. In 1 year, he's going to be in his 50s.
Yeah. Sam.
Don't push it.
4 months, roughly.
Don't push it.
Sam.
Sam.
Are you all right there?
Yeah, I'm good.
I got some You're fine.
That's
Okay.
fine.
Okay. Take a sip there. For my Dr. Paul Novotny, I went with Gary Oldman.
Oh, yeah.
Another one that was on my list, but I go to him so often that I...
You do, but I don't.
Yes.
So.
He crosses my lists a whole lot. I don't think I use him as often as I should.
Now, for Bob Blair, this movie is a bit of a sausage party. So
it really is.
I have done some gender swaps, as much as you guys have done as well. But I made my Bob Blair, I changed the name to Blair Williams.
Ooh.
So, see what I did there?
Yes.
And I went with Molly Parker from Lost in Space and House of Cards. Now, we haven't seen her play evil, but we've kind of seen her play serious and stern. And I'm like, she's got a look to her. Like, I can solely buy her as a bad
Molly
guy.
Parker, Men with Brooms. She was so wonderful in that.
Yeah.
She's wonderful in so many
So, like... And, another Canadian treasure in that role.
Yes.
So,
Kissed, she played a very hard role and just nailed it.
Yeah, so I'm like, damn, I would like to see her play the bad guy. You know? And being from the House of Cards world, she can play that political conspiracy stuff too, and the manipulation that's going on there. So I kind of I was playing a lot of elements there, and I'm like, I was pretty happy with that. I'm like, I would love to see that. For my president, I went with Dennis Quaid.
Nice.
He's of the age. Yeah.
He's of the age, and I think he'd be great. For Jane DeVries, I went with Kerry Russell from The Americans and Dawn of the Planet of the Apes.
Love it.
And we've seen her in a Mission Impossible movie not that long ago.
Especially with The Americans. I love that.
Yeah, so I think she'd be good in that role. For my Tommy, I also changed the sex of this character, so I don't know what we'd call Tommy, Ray. I was thinking Lorelai or something like that.
Tammy Lynn.
Tammy
you can
Lynn.
keep her as well. You can make her Timmy. I have an Aunt Timmy.
Oh, I have
Full name Timothy.
I have a friend, and her name's Michael, so nothing that says you couldn't. I went with Amanda Seyfried, who's been on Twin Peaks and stuff, and has those crazy Gollum eyes.
Yes.
And I'm like, she does look like she's penetrating your brain on a good day.
Yeah.
Yes.
So
most of the time with love.
And but with that smaller stature and stuff, I could totally believe her playing some psycho character.
It would be interesting to see her play to break into that type of character.
Well, she kind of played like heel character in A Million Ways to Die, but that was like a really offbeat comedy. Per se, but I'd like to see her just play a serious kind of psycho character.
I'd like to see her go full psycho.
Well, yeah, she was kind of a serious character in Anon, but Anon was kind of boring.
In the very end
like that.
of Jennifer's body, I could see where this comes into play. Like, she's a little mental, she's a little psycho. Because that was that end part. At the end, I was like going, okay, now I want to watch the movie with this character.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
let's do that.
So I was like, yeah, I think that would really work.
Yes.
For my Charlie Prince, I wanted somebody I almost put a horror writer in the role. But nice. I wanted if we kept that thing there, even not, it's still a nice nod to the horror writer. I think we've decided it's going to be more of a small-time news reporter kind of thing. Not for a major outlet, but trying to make their name kind of thing. I went with Robert Englund because he can play manic.
Yep.
Outside of the Freddy aspect, we've seen him play kind of more manic characters. I remember way back on V where he was kind of quirky.
Yep.
Yeah.
So I'm like,
loved him on
I'd like
V.
to see him go back to something like that. He hasn't got to play in a while. I even cast Buddy, the kid, because that's important. That's where the Snake Man comes from, and we get to see some of the heroism of Alex Gardner. And I went with Noah Wiseman from The Babadook.
Nice.
I also want to talk about the music in this movie, which is god-awful kind of.
But it's pretty amazing at the same time.
The original composer here was Maurice Jarre, something like that. I went with Rich Vreeland from Disaster Piece, who composed It Follows for this movie, because I think it has a similar quality, but it needs to be better.
It needs to be updated. There's
the music sometimes was.
Do you remember any music?
Popped me out.
It was supposed to. That was it wasn't supposed to pop you out, but it was supposed to make you disconcerted all the way through the movie.
It did. It functioned there because I was disconcerted hearing it.
Yeah, it should have just been a cue to when you're in a dream. It doesn't have to be that disconcerting. But do you think of any dreams where you've remembered music or a score of any kind? It's very weird when I heard it.
Well, that's the thing that's the thing you usually shouldn't. Like, it should accentuate a scene and not stand out from a scene. Yeah. And I thought it was standing out.
It was standing out. And I think part of it is because it's so
not
dated.
in a good way.
Right? I mean, it's so dated. And it was...
but it's kind of uses that electronic thing like John Carpenter does, but he's got so many memorable kind of scores. It just sounded noisy.
And again, the composer, that was what they were going for.
Yeah.
And you know what? In the 80s, it probably worked fairly well because it was... Those were sounds we were used to coming from our music. And it was the production company they actually wanted an orchestral soundtrack, but the composer fought them on it and says, no, in order to make this work for the movie, we need to go digital.
See, and what I always thought about it, which bothered me, is like, I don't think you need music in the thing. To me, it seems to be like, in reality, you would hear background and you hear birds and you hear everything. If I think about my dreams, they're kind of quiet overall. Yeah. It should be an absence of sound, which indicates a dream rather than music.
Well, dreams don't generally have the soundtrack, so
they don't.
No,
and
at least not mine.
All I hear is what's necessary for me to hear in the dream. Everything else is quiet. It's kind of creepy.
Yeah. And Joss Whedon has shown us in a couple episodes how powerful some things can be without music. Right?
Yeah.
I mean, when you look at the episode where Hush is one, but more importantly, the one where Joan dies, there is no music in that episode.
Right.
And it just makes that whole episode incredibly powerful. Right?
Yeah.
Because you're really responding to the actors.
Yeah, and maybe that would be something that they could use the musical and sound cues or whatever, and maybe only use it in the real world stuff. Yeah. And if you have some scenes that are ambiguous, where you're not sure if it's a dream or a real world, but there are the subtle things where lack of music that's telling you, yeah, you're in a dream now.
It would make it. I think it could make it really, really interesting. Actually.
You don't hear a house creak, but you can hear that clock tick. Yeah. You don't hear a door really move or creak.
It's those kind
noises
of
that should be there.
Background sounds feel like they're pumped a little more forward, and it's just
and some are missing, and
it feels a bit surreal. Yeah.
That would be really disconcerting. I feel.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like you see a bird chirping, but you can't hear the chirp. Like things like that would be.
Or it's out of sync with the bird you see. If you see the bird.
Yeah. See, sound design would make those dream sequences really, really disconcerting. I think.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I dig that a lot. All right. Well, any last thoughts about Dreamscape?
Just really, not really. There's not a lot more we can say. I would amp it up. Obviously, have more dream sequences. Maybe move away from that PG-13 rating. Make it more, especially when we get into the political stuff. You want to make it more adult, I think.
Yeah, and then right now with our movies starting to make money again, and Hollywood going, oh wait, you don't have to be PG to make money. Now might be the time to make it have a more serious tone, get really dark with some of the nightmares.
Oh yeah, get really dark with some of the nightmares, but you can and sort of alleviate it at certain points with the right comedic beats in a dream. Mm-hmm. Like just have those couple ones that are just real bonkers, just for fun.
Yeah, and certainly having the Alex character as still slightly irreverent, at least for the first half of the movie, works really well, right? Because you need that sort of character to relieve some of that tension because everybody else is so serious.
I just figured out something to do with it. You don't need the scene on the train where like he gets in there and gets in there. You could have it where he's just going into her dream to poke around. He's actually trying to remain inconspicuous the whole time.
Trying to get to know her a little bit better.
He's he's invasive, but not in a creepy. He's just trying to get a look into her subconscious.
And you can still
the dynamic changes with our casting because we went with a female Alex, right?
Yeah,
that changes that dynamic.
Yeah, I kept mine male, but I mean. And you can still have the argument of the invasiveness of that moment without it being really creepy.
Yeah.
Yeah. And also I had the idea that like rather than gambling, but I mean I like going with the gambling angle now. Mm-hmm. I had an idea where like she was just a traveling psychic who would get enough wrong that nobody would pay that much attention to her,
Yeah, and I think that'd be the success of that character is to intentionally get some stuff wrong, just so to throw that heat off your trail, and hide in plain sight.
Yeah.
Because that means Alex isn't dumb. Because that would just seem so stupid that he doesn't even try to get any wrong.
Yeah, I think that needs to happen. Make him smarter.
We need to change that character. So the character's more self-aware.
Yeah,
because I think that was what they kind of hint at it, and then they just completely undo it.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
Because that's why he wants to leave the experiments, is because he becomes self-aware, realizing these experiments aren't benefiting anybody.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Probably also his psychic abilities are like, I'm getting a strong hint here that this isn't all above board.
Yeah.
But it's more dream sequences. Absolutely.
Oh, one more thing. I just figured a way to work the writer in is they're friends, and the writer says, there's something fishy going on in here. You need to get in on this project.
Ooh.
That way you don't have to go through the whole hunt and search thing.
I don't know. I kind of like him getting caught up in it, but actually, maybe we can use that, give that writer an extra scene to facilitate his entry into the film. Yeah.
It establishes their relationship a little bit better too.
Yeah.
Or alternatively, you could have Alex as the type of person who can spot fakeness and fakery, and they're friends for that.
Yeah.
Because he helps them out.
Yeah. Ooh. Well, every con man needs a kind of that sidekick, right?
Yeah. Right.
That'd be
makes a career to being a debunker.
Yeah.
Even though they're the real deal.
Ooh, that would be cool. Yes. I like that.
Love it.
New angle right at the finish line.
That's how we roll, man.
That's how we roll. You never know when the good ideas are going to pop.
Yep.
But, you can help us out by communicating with us on all our social media sites. We are at Invasion Remake on Twitter, Invasion the Remake on Facebook and Instagram, and invasiontheremake@gmail.com. And hey, you know what? You can dream about us by giving us a 5-star rating and a quick review over on iTunes, because I know we'll have good dreams because of that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Always. And tell your friends where to find the show. We are on a ton of different places: iTunes, Apple Podcasts, Google Play Music, Stitcher, Libsyn, TuneIn Radio, Player FM, Audio Boom, Blueberry, iHeartRadio, and
frickin' YouTube.
So tell all your friends about it and help get their
earballs
on the show. See, it's back. The earballs are back. Don't forget to follow Bad Reception, Two Girls on a Bench, and Grave Girls, and follow all the podcasts involved in All the Horror, hashtag All the Horror on Twitter month for October. So look for that hashtag. And what's the other site to follow, Sam?
All the Horror 18.
At All the Horror 18.
That's correct. Yeah.
Also on Twitter to keep track of all the podcasts involved this month in hashtag All the Horror. And we're not done with that yet either. We've got a lot of episodes coming up for October because there's 5 Tuesdays, so you get an extra one than last year. And all three of us, we're also doing our 31 Days of Horror challenge for the third year in a row. I've done this many years all by myself, so it's nice to have some company for a change. But you guys like it so much, we're going to do it again, and we are watching 31 horror movies over 31 days of October that we have never seen before.
Which I don't think anybody else does.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people who do 31 Days of Horror, but I don't think anybody else is doing 31 horror.
That has always been my challenge. It's not just watch 31 horror movies because you're just going to watch the same ones over and over again.
Right.
I'm going to watch, and you are going to watch, Sam, and you, Trish, are going to watch 31 movies we have never seen before. Inevitably, there might be some crossover, but potentially 93 movies we'll be talking about, and that'll culminate in 2 specials in November. So watch for those as well. So you're going to get a lot of horror stuff, and once we finally get through that stuff, we'll kind of ease out for a little while. But don't worry, we're not going to give up on the genre anytime soon.
If you're doing 31 days, like that little wrinkle where you watch ones you've never seen, I kind of encourage anybody who's doing it to do that, because you'll come across some gems you didn't realize you had to see and we're going to love.
Inevitably, you're also going to find some that you wish you would have never seen at all. But that's also inherent in the genre.
Yes. It's like falling in love. There's always a chance it could go terribly wrong.
Yeah. So there's only one way to find out, is to keep listening to Invasion of the Remake, especially through the month of October and into November if you are a horror fan. So spread the word. If you're talking about us, hashtag All the Horror, hashtag 31 Days of Horror. And make sure you follow all the podcasts that are also involved in 31 Days of Horror. Give them a shot, check them out, and maybe you will be subscribing to them as well.
You should be subscribing to them.
You should. I mean, those segments were great, even though it was invasive.
Well,
I guess I got to get used to this, huh?
If we're all about the invasion, we can't be mad when other people do it.
I suppose.
We kind of built a rod for our own back. To be honest.
Yeah, so thanks again to Bad Reception, Two Girls on a Bench, and Grave Girls for being a part of this episode. All right, I've been Jason.
I'm always Sam.
I continue to be Trish.
And we will invade your dreams. Until next week, we are out of here.
Is there a problem, Paul?
What are you doing?
Does not concern you.
Oh, I think it does. I'm afraid everything concerns me now.
Will you excuse me?
If something's deeply troubling you, let's sit down and talk about it.
Should we really? Should we talk about what you intend to do to the president?
I thought that was clear. I intend to put an end to his nightmares.
Well, that I'm sure of. It's over now, Blair. I'll see to that.
No one's going to believe you.
By God, I'll make them believe me. I came to you with important research. Designed to illuminate, not to destroy.
Didn't I provide you with everything you needed?
You took something that was vital and very important, and you corrupted it.
You let me.